This is based on work by the Chrysler Institute of Engineering and chats with people who were there. What was in a Chrysler factory in the 1950s? It was a surprising amount of gear to take care of thousands of employees who ate and drank, to deal with possible fires, to build cars, and to build and fix machines they used to make cars. It is almost unbelievable how much equipment and property goes into a plant, and it was all tracked. Until the mid to late 1960s, Chrysler had to equip each plant pretty completely because of the lack of centralization. Plants made and repaired much of their own equipment and had their own tool engineers and designers. They had plant engineers, master mechanics, assistant master mechanics, and so on. They even built their own engines until Chrysler finally centralized engine production. Each in the factory had to be staffed and had to get its own equipment, right down to the paper and pens and blueprinting equipment required by engineers and draftsmen. Some examples of specific categories are power, powerhouse, generating or transforming outside electrical and sometimes steam power, transmission systems, motors, generators, starters, wiring, belting, hangers and bearings, countershafts, pulleys, communication, teletypes, telephones and switchboards, vacuum tubes for sending letters around materials handling, conveyors, elevators, cranes, steam, electric hand, hoists, trucks, battery chargers, racks, bins, pumps, general building, floor loading equipment, paint, glazing, janitorial gear, groundskeeping equipment, ice machinery, and maintenance air compressors, and specialty gases, e.g. acetylene, benches, scales, and fixtures. Materials for building design, construction, and repairs. Sandblast gear, greasing equipment, also needed for production. Equipment for millwrights, electrical, steam fitting, sheet metal, carpenters, powerhouse, janitors, yard men, crank and elevators, and tinsmiths, car, part, or engine production, oil and bass burners, fuel and lubrication oil and supply systems for the oils, gases, e.g. oxygen and simple air, gasoline, lacquer, paint, brake and other car fluids, oil clarifiers, spray booths, ovens for baking cars, regulators, recorders, numerous tanks for holding fluids, tracks for equipment to run on, air washers, testing equipment of all kinds, block testing, dimensional testing, etc., chip and boring disposal, and scrap balers. And equipment for enameling surfaces, heat treating, acid cleaning, pickling, plating, galvanizing, parkerizing, and bonderizing, and all nature of gear for the foundry. Safety and staff care, fire alarm, with automatic call, and starting quitting signal systems. Fire protection equipment, fire pumps, floors, drinking water systems, fences, fans, and blowers, dust collectors, also needed for equipment and production. Heating, ventilation, and sometimes air conditioning. Chrysler's first air-conditioned plant was in Chicago during World War II. Lighting lock systems, washing machines, plumbing and sewers, also for production, restaurant equipment for cafeteria, first aid gear. Plant engineering repaired its own equipment, normally. Tool room or machine repair could also make repair parts with permission from the master mechanic. The master mechanic would oversee 1. Actual production. 2. Where applicable, foundry, press steel, body shop, screw machines, transmission, engine parts and assembly, and wiring harnesses, sheet metal, and machine shop. The last two were the same shop except at Dodge, Maine. Sheet metal included die engineering, design, follow-up, and die shop, and a body fixture shop. Within machining there was tool engineering, design, trouble, follow-up, and tool room. There was also machine repair, cutter grind, a grinding wheel and belt room, and various tool stores and cribs. Tool design required draftsmen. Machine repair might be responsible for thousands of machines, some of which they developed internally.